joining the Essential Therapies podcast. Dr. Cindy here on a very interesting and special day. I am here for some road reflections. Instead of driving to the studio, I am driving away from the studio. We have just packed everything up and it's kind of surreal. So I thought I would just throw this out here and let you know, first of all, we are still strong in Toledo area and Northwest Ohio, in not only Pioneer, but also in Toledo. So if you haven't been following, I had a pretty good size space with 4 treatment rooms and a big exercise room, and I had other practitioners working with me. But it was a wonderful time. For 5 years. I had the most beautiful space with incredible energy there, and boy was it lovely to go to work there. What ended up happening was that it was just, it took so much of my time that I wasn't able to focus on some of the other things that are really important to me that I thought I was going to be able to do. So for example, I ended up doing a lot more just managing and keeping this larger space going instead of having more time to be creative and educate and do other things. So this day, Halloween 2025, October 31st, marks a day of transition. It was the last day of the lease that I've had for a little over 5 years now. So much has happened during that time for all of us, right? I don't think I need to name off everything that has happened in our world, but you know what I mean. And also personally, my life is so much different now, and so many things happened during that time, and it was a journey that was supposed to take place, and the person that I had to become through that whole process, it's just been really interesting to see, and I am full of gratitude and really hope, and looking forward to how I can help others with what I have learned about Essential Therapies. And you know, the name of this business is so appropriate because years ago, I really was focusing primarily on the John F. Barnes myofascial release approach, and I still am, but I also realized it's not just that. And I know they always say, you know, you really should focus your niche to one thing and specialize in one area, and I understand the importance of that, but I also felt like if I didn't talk about these other things that are so important and part of my life, then I'm not being real. You know, I'm not being, I guess, fully open about what's important, because without myofascial release, if we have restricted fascia, our cells are in a straitjacket, and the cells cannot do what they need to do in a healthy way. But it really is about cellular health overall. So what if, as you've taken care of fascial restrictions and you've created a practice daily so that you are noticing where you are restricted and doing what you need to do to release these things and to release the emotional holding patterns that are causing some of these structural issues? What about when you learn how to do that and there's still more? Like, nutrition is definitely a thing. Biochemistry is definitely a thing. And if we don't have the bricks to be able to build, and we don't have the mortar, or we have the mortar and we don't have the bricks, or vice versa, something is going to be missing, and we're not going to be as healthy as we could be. And throughout this life of mine now, as I'm aging so much, it's amazing to me. Like, I don't feel at all my age, but I am so grateful for the experience that I've had through this aging process. And I tell people all the time, you know, hey, I'm younger than I'm ever going to be. So I'm trying to embrace that. And I hope that you do too, because if you've made it to an age where you're actually thinking like, oh man, I'm really getting old, like, wow, that's really great, because what's the alternative, right? And my goal is to age in a way that I feel vibrant and healthy and alive and eager to live and enjoy life. So that's one thing that the John Barnes myofascial release approach has really helped me with, is realizing that the purpose of life is to enjoy it. You know, I mean, we're not here to be just kind of put through the ringer, I mean, sometimes it might feel that way, and truly there's been times in my life I felt that way, but what I hope to do now more as I continue to age with whatever time I have left is to look at what am I doing and saying, hey, are you enjoying yourself right now? What could you do to shift that? Is there anything that you could do? We all have trials and tribulations, and I have had a very blessed life, and I've had some challenges that really, really put me through many situations where I had to learn something new, and sometimes I failed and sometimes I succeeded, and failure to me is just another opportunity, right? And so as I wrap up this time for Essential Therapies at 7596 Kings Point Road, open one little rented room in 7584 Kings Point Road in Toledo, Ohio, and shift mainly my practice to Pioneer, Ohio, out in the middle of fields in the country, 48 miles away from the Toledo location, where I'm on this beautiful drive right now, and it's dead corn. It looks actually very pretty, and the trees in the distance that are orange and yellow and a pale green, and some of them are red, and it's so pretty. And I think about the sunsets that I've seen and the sunrises over these years. It's really, really cool to know that I've had this opportunity. And when I was saying goodbye to the space and thinking of all the people that I've helped during this time, I really was feeling the reality is that I have been helped. I was helped so much by being in that space, because being in that space brought so many people into my circle that I was able to interact with and to help or to be challenged by, or whatever the case may be. And it's all beautiful. It really is. And as these leaves are falling from these trees and we go through this seasonal change, it's very appropriate that I too am going through this seasonal change. And for those therapists who are working with me up until the end, I'm so grateful for our experiences together. And I still think of us as a team, because all of us therapists, especially who are doing the John Barnes myofascial release approach and really helping people understand our view and John's view of what is really going on in the body. It's not even just about fascia. We say this word fascia, but it's about consciousness. Fascia is the container of our consciousness in our bodies. And that consciousness has an effect through the fascia. And so what we're doing as therapists is helping our patients and clients navigate how our body holds our consciousness, and those things that have caused pain and problems, dysfunctions, whatever it is, maybe an uneasiness, maybe just how we hold ourselves even. There's an answer that traditional medicine has not been talking about. And I'm excited to be here during this time when, as John would say, the 100th monkey is happening, which means people are starting to realize, and it's going to happen on a larger scale. And my goal is to continue to educate and to help others who are willing to learn. So thank you so much for being here with me on this journey. And I want you to know I have so many things planned. So please stay tuned. Please share the information and be open to feeling what's going on in your body, not just in a physical sense, but in a true sense of where am I holding my beingness, my consciousness, my emotions. What's this connection? Be curious about it. And I truly believe when we open ourselves to being curious and welcoming whatever might show up, we get incredible information, and life can just really blossom for you. I want to give you hope that even if you're sitting there now with pain and issues and movement problems, and you haven't tried the John Barnes myofascial release approach or self-treatment consistently, maybe you've even had some treatments, but you have not done your own body awareness and connection and treatment. And I would encourage you to stay in a space of being hopeful and curious, look at the calm technique, which I will be talking more and more about as time goes on, and we will help you to see a new path to healing and to creating the most out of life, because you truly are creating tomorrow's body today, and there's always something that you can do, even if it's how you look at it. So thanks so much, and have a great Halloween, and look forward to talking to you more and sharing more.